Morning came early in Shadowleaf, the sky dusted pale blue and the air crisp with frost along the rooftops. A thin mist clung to the fields, softening the sounds of distant footsteps, sharpening others. At the far edge of the village, where lanterns didn't reach and birdsong faded quickly, a single cottage stood alone. Plain stone walls, black trim, a still door. Inside, Snealer rose without sound. He moved with purpose, without hesitation. No yawn, no stretch, just motion. He wrapped the thin black tunic over his torso and buckled his belt tight around his waist. His sword, plain, steel, honest, rested against the wooden table. He took it in hand, sheathed it at his side, and stepped out into the cold. The mist barely stirred as he walked. He didn't greet the villagers. Most didn't see him anyway. He liked it that way. But as he passed the eastern path just beyond the training fields, he caught a flicker of movement in the high branches of a tree. Balanced perfectly, barefoot, retrieving something, a child's kite. Snealer slowed, just for a moment. The man's movements were like wind on glass, silent, precise, unshaken. Snealer watched, unreadable behind his eyes. Zhaoyun didn't see him, didn't sense him. That was fine. The kite returned to the child. Zhaoyun walked on. So did Snealer. The Adventure Guild sat quiet in the early light. The doors were open, but the main hall was still waking. A few candles burned low, parchment crinkled in the draft. Braga looked up from behind the desk, arms already crossed. His gaze was sharp but not hostile. "You're early," he muttered. Snealer stepped forward and said only two words. "Frost hunt." Braga raised an eyebrow. "Frostvein timberlands?" A nod. "You're not the only one drawn to danger lately," Braga said, more to himself than to Snealer. "But that forest isn't for today. You'll wait 2 days. It's not the enemy that worries me, it's the timing." He reached beneath the desk and pulled out a sealed scroll. The wax was deep blue, stamped with a frost emblem. He handed it over. "Read it. Train. You'll leave when it's time." Snealer accepted the scroll without a word and turned to go. But just before he stepped out into the light again, a movement across the street caught his eye. A girl, younger than him, moving softly through the mist in a long purple dress. She had a wooden bow across her back and a quiet, searching gaze, as if she were looking for something she couldn't name. Stormelle. Their eyes didn't meet. She didn't see him, but for a moment he watched her walk. Then he turned, disappearing into the mist. Back at his cottage, the day grew colder. He sat at the small bench outside his door, the frost cracking softly beneath his boots. The scroll lay open in his lap. Mission assigned, Frostvine Timberlands. Enemy Shardfang, a predator formed of layered frost and feral instinct. Frozen Pounce, freezes terrain beneath impact, high burst speed. Crystalline Howl, shattering screech, reduces focus, slows reactions. Delay time, 2 days. Conditions unstable in the region. Entry not permitted until cleared. Recommendation, prepare, reinforce, observe. He rolled the scroll back up slowly and set it aside. His sword sat across his knees, quiet, dull, not ready. Without expression, he extended his arm, the metal-plated one, and drew the edge of his blade slowly across the curved surface. The ring of steel against steel whispered through the cold, again and again. Each stroke left the sword sharper, and his breathing slower. There was no flame in his eyes, no hatred, no fire, only the slow, measured rhythm of someone shaping themselves. One edge at a time. The frost deepened, the mist thickened. And Snealer, alone in silence, prepared.